I'm curious about the shots to the face. Some people saying Giorgio was too aggressive with the hands in the face and the slapping. Is that part of wrestling in your opinion, or is that too much?
Yeah, I think Giorgio started that, and I think he was doing too much. But they did take points from him, and I'm not a wrestler, and I think if they was supposed to fight, they should fight during the wrestling match,
Yes.
not after. That's my only opinion. And now, but the Georgia was doing too much for sure. Like he was fighting aggressive, and we all see also after like now you see how he was like pushing his face and stuff. Yeah.
One of was like, what
The man, the myth, the legend, Arman Tsarukyan is on a massive side quest. He took on Georgio Poullas at Real American Freestyle number 6. Now, this fight ended in a brawl, but Arman Tsarukyan got away with the victory. I'm going to break this down, and I'm going to give you guys my feeling of why this brawl happened, because I watched it live at home, and I felt like what Arman did, I think anybody would have done if they don't play that shit.
Arman Tsarukyan embarked on a massive grappling side quest by stepping onto the mats to take on Georgio Poullas at Real America Freestyle number 6. But this highly anticipated matchup ultimately devolved into an absolute cage fight style brawl that left the entire combat sports community completely speechless and begging for answers.
That's what's pissing Arman off, and it would piss me off too. If I was a ref, I'm like, dude, stop hitting his eyes, stop clubbing, wrestle. Look at this right here. I wish I could zoom in on that. He's probably grabbing his fingers and twisting it. That might be wrestling. I'm not sure. Arman's pissed. Blah.
From the very opening seconds of this controversial bout, you could immediately sense that an ominous and deeply personal tension was rapidly brewing underneath the surface, because Georgio Poullas completely abandoned the traditional gentleman's agreements of respectful hand fighting and immediately resorted to incredibly aggressive tactics right in his opponent's face.
Wrestle. You can hand fight, you can be nice and gentle, and the difference between clubbing and like head control is if this is here and I go whack and I hit it, that is clubbing. But if I grab his head and I shake it like this, that is legal. But that's not what Giorgio is doing. He's literally slapping the head.
There is a massive and undeniable fundamental difference between strategically securing gentle head control to break an opponent's balance and repeatedly clubbing another man in the skull like you are trying to deliberately cause a severe concussion just to establish a cowardly psychological dominance on the mats.
Okay, now look what he's doing with his fingers. Look at this. Look at this shit. Where's my epic pin out? They're grabbing each other's fingers and he's trying to like... This is why Arman's pissed, because look at all these cheap shit that like these guys are doing to each other. And Arman doesn't play that shit. Look at this right here. I wish I could zoom in on that. He's probably grabbing his fingers and twisting it. That might be wrestling. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But if someone was doing that to me too, I would love to knee him in the liver and try to sweep him, all that stuff. But these are the things that were very...
Arman Tsarukyan is a highly disciplined and seasoned professional who rightfully expects a certain level of mutual respect during a grappling exchange, but instead of technical wrestling, he was instantly met with vicious, continuous slaps masquerading as standard head control, which rapidly chipped away at his professional patience.
Arman wins 5-3. Arman's pissed. Blah! Oh shit! Here comes Dad! There's a brother. Brother gets thrown in there. Arman's being laid down on. They take him down. So it's chaos here. Okay, Arman's corner is there. There's Giorgio's brother. There's Izzy. Izzy's trying to...
As if the relentless and blatantly disrespectful head clubbing was not infuriating enough to watch, Georgio intentionally decided to massively escalate the dirty tactics by deeply intertwining his hands and aggressively twisting Arman's fingers in a desperate attempt to gain an unfair advantage through literal joint manipulation.
And like I said, I think this is all stemming from him clubbing the whole time. Just clubbing. And I think if he wasn't, and like I said, I don't know the rules of freestyle wrestling. But if I was a ref, and if I saw, when I was watching it, I was laughing because I was like, he's pissing off Arman by clubbing and maybe grabbing his hands and trying to like manipulate it and break his. I totally felt what Arman did was totally justified because Arman says, fuck around, find out. If he would have went out there and started hand fighting and grabbing Arman's head and snapping him down, everything would have been legal and Arman would never got pissed. But when he went out there and he started just whack.
This specific type of malicious and calculated unsportsmanlike conduct instantly transforms a standard grappling match into an intense psychological warfare scenario where terrifying, career-ending injuries are suddenly a very real threat, inevitably causing any highly competitive professional fighter in the world to become absolutely furious.
But once you start doing that cheap shit and grabbing fingers and doing that, you're going to piss off a fighter who does not care. He's doing this for the love of it. He doesn't need the money. So if you disrespect him, like he said, got the win, secured the bag. But prior to that, he says, fuck around and find out. And hunker down and you throw him over your head, you get points. So it's almost like, damn if you shoot, damn if you don't. Because it's like, if I shoot and if I secure it, it's 2. But if I shoot and you sprawl and you grab me and you throw me, it's like, fuck, there goes 2 points. So I'm not sure, but I need to have either Chael Sonnen or Henry Cejudo on here to help me break down what are the rules for real American freestyle.
You could physically see the agonizing and frustrated grimace etched deeply across the face of Arman Tsarukyan as he desperately struggled to rip his trapped hands away from that malicious grip, while the internal pressure cooker inside his mind ticked dangerously closer to an absolute explosion. When a highly disciplined mixed martial artist is intentionally pushed past his absolute breaking point by blatant disrespect and continuous cheap shots, you already know that a catastrophic and violently explosive crash out is completely unavoidable, regardless of the official setting or the specific rules currently in place. Georgio Poullas made the unbelievably foolish and arrogant decision to mess around with a world-class killer who fights purely out of love for the sport, and he ultimately found out exactly what happens when you decide to cross those dangerous, unspoken lines of fundamental combat sports disrespect. That relentless barrage of illegal clubbing strikes and maliciously twisted fingers pushed a very specific trigger inside Arman's psyche that immediately activated a violent fight or flight response geared entirely toward absolute physical destruction rather than simply scoring points to secure a traditional, boring wrestling victory. Until these grappling organizations finally decide to definitively crack down on these insidious micro-fouls and eliminate the dangerous ambiguity surrounding the rules, we will continually witness legendary fighters like Arman Tsarukyan being violently forced to take the law completely into their own hands to fiercely protect their hard-earned honor.